Alright folks, this is Harris Sultan. As you know, people in the West are becoming increasingly uncomfortable with the influx of illegal migrants into Europe. Why? This is why. Another Afghan migrant killed a 2-year-old toddler on Wednesday in a public park in Germany. Germany took in hundreds of thousands of Afghans as refugees after they fled Afghanistan in the wake of the Taliban takeover. We warned even back then that taking in thousands of people from a culture inherently hostile to the West was a bad idea. But the far left kept labeling everyone as far right, even when people raised genuine concerns. It's not just violent attacks on innocent babies and German men. There has also been a rise in sexual violence against Western women, with Germany leading the way. As you are aware of the grooming gang scandal in Britain, something even more sinister is taking place in Germany regarding sexual violence against German women. According to the latest data, Afghan men make up less than 1% of Germany's population, yet they account for 15% of all gang rapes of German women, while Germans, who make up 88% of the population, account for only 33% of gang rapes. Now you tell me, if you were a native German, would you not be angry? This is why they're angry, and this is why they're rejecting traditional political parties that keep pushing the same old tired rhetoric of you are an Islamophobe, or you're a bigot, or you're far right. There is a reason why these labels are becoming more and more ineffective by the year, because this is an obvious lie. And I've been predicting for almost half a decade now that soon there will be very loud calls to deport men from Muslim countries. Whether they are Africans, Afghans, or Pakistanis, people from Muslim-majority countries have a higher propensity for committing violent and sexual crimes against native Europeans. In this latest incident, a 28-year-old failed Afghan asylum seeker entered Germany in 2022 and unsuccessfully sought asylum. He was supposed to leave late last year after offering to depart voluntarily, which turned out to be a lie. However, since the EU is suffering from pathological altruism, they were unable to deport him back to his Taliban-run homeland, which he escaped because they were so brutal. And paradoxically, he brought the same brutality to the country that took him in. In addition to a 2-year-old toddler, a brave 41-year-old passerby who saw the attack and tried to stop it also lost his life. 3 other people were injured in the senseless attack by the Afghan migrant, including a child of Moroccan descent. The police raided his house and didn't find any Islamist literature. I think it's the case of a disgruntled, failed asylum seeker taking out his revenge rather than being an Islamist. Chancellor Olaf Scholz, a left-leaning, bleeding-heart liberal who until very recently didn't care about the influx of illegal migrants in Germany, suddenly sprang into action. He condemned the unbelievable act of terror on a play school group that left 3 more people wounded and demanded to know why the failed asylum seeker had been allowed to stay in the country. How very thoughtful of him. I wonder why he's suddenly showing interest in the issue of illegal migration. You know why he's now pretending to be concerned about the influx of migrants from Islamist countries? Because Germany is heading into a general election on February 23rd. He knows that people are angry, and this is a major issue. Not just in Germany, but across the entire Western world. Unlike Keir Starmer in Britain, he doesn't have the luxury of time on his side. Thanks to Trump's victory in America, Geert Wilders in the Netherlands, and Giorgia Meloni in Italy, it's becoming increasingly clear that people have had enough. We should expect to see more voters shifting towards hard-right parties in the upcoming general elections in both Germany and France. Here's a snapshot of all terrorist attacks in Germany since 2016. See the common denominator? All of them perpetrated by the followers of the most peaceful religion in the world. Now, if you want to argue that this man acted out because he was a disgruntled asylum seeker whose application was rejected and that Islam had nothing to do with it, which is a fair argument, then you still have to blame mass migration. And who is to blame for that? The left. Period. And they wonder why people are drifting towards parties like the AfD. Either way, the narrative pushed by traditional parties on Islamophobia and asylum seekers has proven to be outright false. My argument is that inviting people from hostile cultures into a society they have always viewed as the enemy is a bad idea. Let me make my argument even stronger. Just yesterday, even in Australia, a group of Afghan migrants brutally attacked a lifeguard at a swimming centre in Melbourne's southeast. His crime? He asked the Afghan boys not to do backflips in the pool as they were endangering the safety of other swimmers. As you know, I have always said that whatever happens in the rest of the Western world eventually ends up happening right here in Australia too. Just last week, I made a video showing how anti-Semitism has risen by 300% in the last 12 months in Australia. We all know which community is behind that. And now, Australia's far-left Labor Party is opening the floodgates to these refugees from hostile cultures. The Albanese government has given 3,000 visas to Gazans, more than any other Western country. Even countries like the UK or America, which are far bigger than us, haven't taken that many Gazan refugees. How many of them are sympathetic to Hamas? The Australian government has no idea. It was only a matter of time before they attacked an innocent person. Much like in Germany and Britain, the Australian public is not prepared to deal with these gangs. Over the last few decades, as Western society became more civilized, their people lost their ability to fight for themselves. But these fighting-age men coming from war-torn countries who already view the West as the enemy, you haven't even seen 1% of what's to come.
Oh, yeah.
What do you?
What?
What?
Touch me camera
What?
and I'll blade knock you out. You
What camera?
Touch me camera and I'll knock
What
you out. Get your
camera?
hands on.
What camera? What camera?
Get your hands on.
What camera?
Get your hands on.
القردة.
Where you from?
هنا
Where you
القردة.
from?
شو دخلها؟
Where are you from?
شو دخلها؟
from?
شو دخلها؟
Where are you from? Hey,
تقول لي
Hey, where you from?
القردة يا زلمة.
where are you from?
What?
Get the f out of my face, man. Get out of my face.
Our suicidal leftist governments are destroying these wonderful countries. It breaks my heart when I compare Australia or even Europe in the 2000s with what we see today. I fear Australia will soon become like Germany, France, or Britain, where gangs from hostile cultures rape and assault the natives. Europe is on the brink, and the upcoming elections in Germany and France are critical for their survival. Similarly, Australians need to kick out the Albanese government or he will open the floodgates even further. Luckily, we also have general elections coming up later this year in Australia, and I'll be strongly pushing for the Dutton government. So, what do you think? Will the Germans and the French wake up just in time? Or is this the end of Western civilization as we know it? Let me know in the comments below. I am Harris Sultan. Until next time, ta-da.